can I animate a pumpkin? And more specifically, can I animate a lot of pumpkins? The first thing I need to figure out is what I'm going to animate onto these pumpkins. So I'm thinking pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, let's keep it simple, and maybe I'll do a cutesy jack-o'-lantern face like this, and I'll animate that into this kind of scary, evil jack-o'-lantern face. Something like that. In animation, you generally have 3 types of frames. You have keyframes, breakdowns, and in-betweens. Here's a really easy way to demonstrate this. So my hand, so first key is here, second key is here. Now I could just do this, but I'm gonna put a breakdown like this. So now I have to go here, key, breakdown, key. Now I have to fill in the spaces with in-betweens. Now I could do few in-betweens like this, or I could do a lot of in-betweens like this. Now that I have my 2 key poses, I need to think about what my breakdown is going to be between those 2 key poses. So I'm thinking, I have this big cutesy open face, and I kind of want it to squish and then into this evil face. So I've drawn all of my breakdown frames, and I'll just quickly explain my thought process behind this. So I'm starting with this cutesy face, and then the first thing that happens is I work these eyes down. And then as I move through this, everything from the bottom then squishes up. And then everything kind of works outward from here. And then the last thing to happen, the bottom teeth snap down this way. And now that I have these keys and breakdowns done, I can time them out in the timeline, thinking how long am I gonna hold each drawing. So if I play that, you can see I've timed out the animation, and from here it's just a matter of filling in the in-betweens between the keys and the breakdowns. Now that I've added all the in-betweens, this is a final animation. Fairly simple, but there's a nice rhythm to it in that the eyes lead, the face squishes outward, and then that mouth finishes everything. So it's not one morph from the start to the end. There's this kind of 3-part rhythm to it. With this animation prep done, let's go carve some pumpkins. Now, I can't just go randomly carving faces onto these pumpkins because they are frames of animation. So I need to make sure that the face on one pumpkin lines up with the face on every other pumpkin. To keep the faces at a consistent height across each pumpkin, I'm going to use a surface gauge, which is a common stop motion tool, and it just lets me mark each pumpkin, and then from that point, I can apply the designs. For the carving, I'm using the tried and true method of taping the design to the pumpkin, using a pin to stencil the design, and then I'm using a small blade to carve the details. Done. That only took 2 full days to gut and carve all these pumpkins. So let's film them. The stop motion aspect of this animation is actually the easiest part. I have 15 pumpkins, and all I really need to do is take a picture of each one. The most important thing is that they all line up with each other. So I always flip between the pumpkin I'm posing and the one before it. You might be wondering why I'm taking pictures of these pumpkins on a blue screen and not some fun Halloween background. By using a blue screen, I can control the lighting in the environment much better than, say, filming outside. I can easily erase the blue screen and add the pumpkin animation to a scene later on. The cool thing about stop motion is that you can take several different exposures and combine them. So for every pumpkin, I'm taking 2 pictures. One for the outside of the pumpkin and one for the glow inside the face. And here's the final animation. This animation looks surprisingly good. I'm very happy with it. To be completely honest, when I create videos like this, I have no idea if they're gonna work or not. So when I spent 2 days carving these pumpkins, I was thinking, I really hope this works. So I'm very happy to see that it came together well. And now it's time for post-production. All right, so I need to turn this raw pumpkin animation into a final nice looking shot. So I've started with this pumpkin on blue screen, and the first thing I'll do is key out that blue. So now I have a pumpkin with a transparent background. And so I need to put something behind that pumpkin. So I went and filmed this front step and this door scene. And this is kind of the composition and the look that I want. Now I need to start thinking about how to connect these objects together. So I have this pumpkin and I'm gonna add a ground shadow under it. So I've added this fake ground shadow and that just roots the pumpkin in the scene much better. And from there I'm thinking color correction. So I've gone in, I've heightened the colors of the pumpkin, I've played around with the lighting. The key thing I'm doing is darkening inside the face of the pumpkin. You can see when I flip between them, adding more contrast really pops that face and you can see it a lot better. And then from there I need to color correct the background. So you can see I'm heightening the colors back here and adding kind of pockets of light and a little bit of flicker around the pumpkin. So it feels a bit like a jack-o'-lantern. And then from there I just crop the shot and add a bit of a vignette, and that's the final look. Now remember how I took 2 exposures for every frame? There was one of the outside of the pumpkin and one for the glow inside the face. Combining those didn't work at all, but it did leave me with a version of the animation of just the glowing face. So it looked pretty cool. So I actually did a version of more of a nighttime scene, and this is fairly dark with just this sharp, really nice glowing face. And the plan is to now, in the final animation, I'll dissolve between this lighter scene and this dark scene, and I kind of get a little bit more out of the animation. And here's the final animation with the compositing and the sound design finished. Can I animate a pumpkin? I think the answer is yes, I can. I've been experimenting a lot lately on my YouTube channel, figuring out what type of video to make. And this series, the Can I Animate series, it feels like what I should be making. I really enjoy stop motion animation, and I enjoy showing the process of how it comes to life. So if you enjoy this video, let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more of these videos, subscribe to my channel. And thank you for checking this out, and I'll see you in the next video.